What's going on, traders? It's Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is May 26th, 2021. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we are going to talk about the price action in the indices. We had a bit of a sideways day in the market. We're going to go under the hood and check out our sectors and style factors. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day. And last but certainly not least, we will talk through some options order flow. Before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump into today's action here. So what did we have? I think the market right now is following the perfect little happy path, and I am loving it. So we have the S&P 500 closed up 0.2%. You can see, looking at the big picture here, over the last 2 months, we have done nothing in the market. So there's a lot of investors out there that they are so conditioned now to this back and forth choppy price action. I keep hearing, all over online, everyone talking about how, as soon as you get a couple good days in the market, make sure to book your profits because, you just give them all back. I think now that everyone is of that mindset that, the market's not going to break out, it's just trading in a sideways range. I actually think we are much more likely to break out. And I think that would catch a lot of investors by surprise because there's certainly been a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty in this market. So we'll see how this all plays out. But as of right now, we had this little mini breakout of this monthly value area. We got a bit extended though. We had 3 or 4 days of really bullish price action. And now we're getting our pullback, which is really just a consolidation in time here. And you can see, we've been talking about this the past couple days, this 5-day exponential moving average has officially caught up with price. And this 20-day simple moving average is starting to get there as well. So I'm actually liking this setup. I think this 42.59 is in play for sure. Let's take a look at, real quick before we move on here. And I'm going to try to make this video nice and short and sweet today if I can. But yeah, this weekly value area high has held up very nicely. And you can see every time we've tagged it, some buyers have come right in. So I don't see anything wrong with just consolidating a little bit as we're very close to new all-time highs. We have our NQ. And you can see the NASDAQ also is on a tear here. You can see we had a really nice extended range candle. And I talked with this the other day. Hey, maybe we get a pullback here, or maybe we get a consolidation. We've essentially had 2 days of just that. But you can see both of these are little green candles here. So I think the NASDAQ is also following the happy path. You can see here though, the 5-day exponential moving average has not even caught up to price. So maybe we get another, few days of sideways price action. I think that just makes the setup even better. Let's take a look at the Russell. And the Russell, you can see, really nice day. We were up, let's just go through all the box scores actually. So we had S&P 500 up 0.2%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ up 0.35%. We had the IWM small caps up 1.87%. They were the big leader for today. And we had the Dow Jones up 0.03%. The small caps, which have been showing no strength whatsoever, and yesterday they actually looked very weak into the close, had a really nice bullish day. So that in and of itself, I could tell, I actually went into the close with some puts as an overnight swing in the IWM. I looked in the pre-market. A lot of times when you get that dumping at the end of the day, you gap down. I saw right off the bat we were going to gap higher, and I knew from there this market's actually pretty strong here. Even the small caps, which looked like they were going to slip into the abyss, they were very strong, and they ended up closing almost on the highs. So I do think this market is actually very strong, but I think a lot of investors and traders out there, they sort of have this PTSD from when we were in a different market regime. I think we were just in a market regime where growth stocks were heading down, SPACs were heading down, cryptocurrency was crashing. So it's very easy to have that, basically that PTSD where you're like, oh man, there's no way any stocks can go up again. But I think, the market's telling us there's a lot of pent up energy here. When you look at our Dow Jones, you can see the Dow Jones not really doing all that much here. Trading above this monthly value area high. The 5-day EMA is right under price. I'm not really expecting, anything too crazy from the Dow Jones, but we'll see what happens. I'm not really focused on it at this point in time. Let's take a look under the hood here. We'll jump over. So looking at our breadth was very solid today. This is another reason why I think we could get a breakout to all-time highs here. The breadth, very strong throughout the day and, pretty steady throughout the day. You can see percentage of advancers was above 50% in every index. The Dow Jones was kind of wobbling around today, but closed pretty strong. So this is really what I would want to see in a bullish consolidation. Now flipping over to our heat map. Let me make sure this is the updated heat map. Did I put this one in? Okay, yeah, that's yesterday's heat map. So we're gonna grab this real quick. Sorry about that. We will throw this in here. There we go. And we'll size this down. Getting to see how the sausage is made here. All right, so if we look at our heat map, we can see very mixed price action today. And let's zoom in. Yeah, very mixed price action. What I'm noticing is Tesla had a really good day. Tesla has been like a cancer for the growth stocks for quite some time. The areas that were a little bit weak, we had healthcare weak, these medical devices. I see some of these consumer defensive names were a little bit weak. Yeah, overall you can see mixed, bit of a consolidation. Some of these FANG names up a little bit, others down a little bit. Nothing too crazy here. Checking out our sectors. The sectors that did really well, we had the blockchain assets up 3.96%. We had biotech up 2.17%. So a lot of these areas of the market that have really been beaten up performed very well today. Solar stocks were up 2.4%. Areas of the market that did not do so well, like I said earlier, healthcare, this XLK technology consolidated, consumer staples consolidated, I see gold miners consolidated. Yeah, a lot of strength across the board here. I was joking around about this earlier on Twitter. We're back in a market where the headline indices are doing nothing, but the stocks I own are going up. And over the past couple months, we've been in the opposite kind of market where it's like, oh my gosh, the headline indices are moving higher, but everything in my portfolio is red, or like all the best names that a lot of traders are going after are red, like the growth stocks, the innovation stocks, all those. Style factors today, we had high beta up 1.31%. We had the cyclicals up as well. And you can see worst performing style factors were international value and Minvol. And that's a good thing when Minvol is an underperformer. Another thing too, real quick. I've been talking about this over the past couple weeks, but there's been so much hedging going on in the market. And now it looks like those hedges are unwinding. If you look at the VVIX closed right on the lows today. And this thing is just, pretty much puking. So everyone that bought protection on, inflation concerns, corporate tax concerns, all that stuff, Fed balance sheet tightening concerns, pretty much the market has just said, some big lightning. Pretty much the market has just said all those concerns were for nothing. So, the Fed balance sheet is still moving higher, and the market has really not moved higher for the past 2 months. I do think, the signs are pointing towards some new highs here. We'll have to see, though. All right, so let's jump into some of my trades for today. I have so many, I'm not going to be able to go through all of them in detail. But let's take a look. Really, my goal for today was, okay, I'm coming into today's session. The market's very strong. So a lot of times, like when your portfolio, you're building positions, the worst is when the market is very weak and then you have to start deciding, what do I want to keep in my portfolio and what don't I want to keep in my portfolio? Because then you're selling things at losses. It's a little difficult. What I like to do is when the market's very strong, that's when I try to think of, okay, do I have all the best players on the field in my portfolio? Do I have the right exposures? Or are there some that are weighing my portfolio down? So that was really my goal for today. Get more concentrated in these exposures that I really want to have. So Shopify, closed this one out for a nice winner. Closed out for 1240, spot 4 or 5. I had paid 1136, spot 48. I like this name. It was good for a trade. I just don't think it's one of the names I really want to roll with if we get this bullish sequence. That being said, I think Shopify is an amazing company. But just in terms of, what's going to compound my account the fastest, I took this one off. Upstart, nice bounce off the 38.2% fettuccine Alfredo level in Upstart. It's so funny. I posted this the other night. Like, normally I don't really look at fib levels, but the other night I was like, Upstart's something I really want to get on in my portfolio. I was like, okay, we got 2 red candles. I was like, let me just throw these fibs on and see if any of these levels line up. And it was pretty much like a perfect, just like al dente fettuccine Alfredo level. So yeah, we ended up getting some nice price action this morning. I got into this for around like 141. And I think if this market, continues to be strong, which is my baseline assumption, I could see Upstart making new all-time highs. And that's something I see people online joking around about this as well. It's kind of funny. One guy, this is really funny. He was like, I just had 3 flooring guys come in to do some work, and they said that Upstart and Roblox are acting very well right now. And it just kind of shows like there's a lot of people watching Upstart and Roblox. They've been the 2 best stocks. And I think, intuitively a lot of people go, I'm not falling for that. I'm not buying these stocks because I know there's a lot of people in them. And I think to a certain extent they could be right. You don't want to buy them when they're extended. But Upstart is literally like one of, if not the market leaders right now. So I was like, I want to add this one on as a core position. So I added this one on. We'll see. I might even end up adding to it. We'll have to see. Yeah, I got that one on the books. And then what else here? I doubled my position in this ETHE. That's the Ethereum Trust at 27.35. My first buy was at 24.65. And in terms of me thinking about like where will I compound my money the fastest? Like what areas of the market deserve my capital? I think that's how everyone should think about their trading account. These cryptocurrencies just had a crash, 40, 50% crash in a lot of these cryptos. No government bailouts, no market meltdowns, nothing. Like everything just worked out just fine. If that was the stock market and we were down 40%, financial institutions would start blowing up. The Federal Reserve would come in full force. I think these cryptocurrencies are a social movement. I don't really care about the technology. Like I'm not like a crypto maximalist or technologist. I think the technology is cool. I certainly understand it at a baseline level and I'm learning more. But I'm really just looking at the price action and really this social movement of what's happening. And Ethereum, I'm like this, I want it to be one of the biggest exposures I have on right now. So I doubled my position. It's actually pretty funny. I tweeted earlier today. I was like, Ethereum is going to overtake Bitcoin in market cap. And I was like, there, I said it. And I'm not like a huge conviction player on these cryptocurrencies. I go by the price action. I wanted to throw that out there to see what kind of reactions I would get, and see also if there were, some smart people that would come in and sort of like either correct me or, just share something useful that I didn't know. I didn't really get all that much pushback or anything. I did have one person that was like, stupid guy asking about the flippening or like, whatever. So I got a couple of those like trollish comments. And then I got, what did I get? Yeah, just like nothing really of crazy. Oh yeah, a bunch of people were like, at remind me tweets, like remind me of this in a year or 6 months or whatever. So yeah, a lot of people, I think they took it like very seriously. But yeah, Ethereum added that as a core position. That's my second largest position now, behind Roblox. And then what else here? Already 15 minutes in. I have Ford on, and I sold some June 18th 14 strike calls for 45 cents against my common shares. Sometimes when I have the urge to take a target, what I do is I just, sell a call against my position. That way, if it keeps moving, I'll stay in it. And Ford, it does look like it wants to just keep ripping. Ford, really nice pattern here. If you look at the weekly, this looks really nice. So we'll see. Maybe it can get to this 1485. If it gets there, I sold those calls for about 45 cents, I believe, or 50 cents. So really, I have some room up to 1450. And then at that point, that's where I'd be like, oh, I wish I didn't sell those calls. Yeah, helps me stay in the trade a little bit longer. So sold some calls against that position. And then, yeah, options trading, I did a lot here. So we're just going to run through a couple of these. I did have some IWM puts coming into the session. I stopped out of those pretty much right on the open. This was another thing. I'm running right now. I would say I had maybe like 3 or 3.5 longs for every one short. But I actually, in gearing up for what I think could be another leg higher in the market, I was like, any of these shorts that are not really working, I'm going to, sort of purge them as well just to get a little bit longer. So yeah, stopped out of my IWM puts. What else here? I'll go through a couple of these. Roblox, this one had a crazy run. So Roblox, I had a diagonal call spread. My cost basis on it is $7.35. I closed it out for $18.50. And I just said, we got the monster move. And converting this to a diagonal allowed me to stick with the trade longer. I feel happy with the gain here. Could run higher, but no one ever went broke taking a profit. So yeah, Roblox. This name, I'm super bullish on it. But this one, yeah, in terms of having options exposure, it's like how greedy do I want to be? So I ended up closing this out when it was still a green candle, maybe when it was at like $92. And sure enough, sellers came in. Like whoever was buying that up at 95, it's just not really like a high percentage move. Maybe if you're very long term, maybe it is. But yeah, not really all that great. So sure enough, this thing sort of put in its top. I would not be surprised if we get some sort of pullback in Roblox. I'd actually welcome it. But surprisingly, it's still closed green. So there's definitely some strong buyers here. But yeah, closed that out for a nice winner, so I was happy about that. It's like 150% winner or something like that. Yeah, I stopped out of XHB. I had some puts in there, stopped out of those. Expedia, took a trade off for a nice winner. I had a dollar winner, closed out for $12.50. I put on a Tesla call spread, and I actually took a target in it. I have the 625 by 635. And I'll talk about this one as well, Futu. So Futu, this name, I've been talking about Futu for quite a while now. I was very patient in entering a position, but a couple of days ago, on one of these candles right here, I added a call spread. I have on the 125 by 140 call spread. And Futu is just the best Chinese stock in terms of relative strength. I added it down here because I was looking and I'm like, this pattern is showing me like, hey, we double bottomed here. I'm looking, these Chinese equities look like they could finally be picking up some steam. I'm going to get in here before the pattern, fully develops. Even earlier today, before we had this really nice candle, I saw some people online saying like, oh, Futu, this has fooled so many people in the past and whatever. I'm just seeing this pattern developing. And I know, same thing with Roblox, where I've been talking about that company for like weeks before it broke out. Now it's at the point where like, I'm pretty sure everyone has purchased Roblox, probably in like very poor locations. Futu, I think, is going to be the same exact thing where nobody's going to pay attention to this thing until we get that bar that just blows right through here. And then suddenly we're looking, right at new all-time highs. And then I think it'll come onto people's radars. And then I think people will start tweeting about it. The growth stock investors will jump all over it. But for right now, I think there's, that's where I see the opportunity. I think this is a pretty nice setup. So yeah, I actually added for July I believe I added the 145 by 155 call spreads. I added the 150 by 160 call spread for $2.57. Yeah, so this Futu, we'll see what happens with it. Maybe it just kind of falters here or kind of stumbles around. But I do think that this one is going to make a nice move at some point in the next month or two. Another name that I'm watching very closely, I have a position, and I actually added slightly to my position, is this Airbnb. So Airbnb, it is trading so tight here. And you can see we had a huge drop, really like a revaluing of this stock. And ever since then, it's stopped going down. So really the first step in terms of a stock transitioning from a bearish trend to a bullish trend is it goes neutral first. And what I'm seeing when I look at this weekly value area, we're pretty much just meandering here. I'm seeing this 200 period moving average come down. Every day this thing is going to catch up to price more and more. And I think once we exceed that 200 period moving average, we could have a really nice ignite bar on Airbnb. So I actually added to my position there as well. That about does it for some of my trades for the day. Let's take a look at some options order flow before we break here. Let's see what we got. So Zscaler, I believe this name reported earnings. Let's take a look. And this was at 9:31. Yeah, Zscaler. That was a really nice, or actually not really. Yeah, so if they bought it at 9:31, this had a really nice gap up. I think it's definitely one I'm going to watch moving forward because that is a very powerful move. But the gap up was sold. We had some nice price action. We explored these higher levels. But at the end of the day, we put in a red candle. Yeah, really interesting. I think I'll have this one on my watch list. And then I see we have some Neo calls coming in, 30 strikes. Let's see, Neo. Neo looking interesting here as well. Yeah, a lot of these Asian equities, I think they're going to move as a group. And it looks like they're starting to heat up. And then a lot of activity for IPOE. IPOE, this one is definitely a bit more extended. So I'm not really all that interested in it here. But this is, once the ticker changes over, it's going to be SoFi. And yeah, had a really nice move now. It's just consolidating. I noticed these meme stocks, they're starting to move again. So GameStop, actually not a bad technical pattern here. Up 15%. They announced they were potentially getting into NFTs. And then AMC as well. Also a really nice move. So these are looking good. They're not yet, at their prior highs. I don't think I'll be participating in these just because the move has already happened. And I'm super late here, but for anybody that is, this is a really nice trade so far. That being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.